up, G? What's up, guys? Episode 28 of Mic Cuddles. Gillian the Savage Robertson, Strawweight Savage. How are you?
Oh, I am tired. I'm hungry.
Okay.
I'm tired of doing cardio.
Yep.
And I'm ready to choke someone for it.
There we go. So, dude, this podcast is going to be amazing for the next 5 weeks. That's what you're telling me. It's going to be like super, like best, conversations we ever had. That's what's happening.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm just in the best mood lately. Everybody would say I'm probably nicer than usual.
Okay.
Maybe not the nicest.
Crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, go.
No, I was just gonna say it's I feel like I'm just focused and ready to get there, but it's been rough.
Yeah. Oh, so okay. So then I didn't know we were going to do this, but we'll do this right off the beginning. And, I even had a update on Strawweight Savage. So with this just being the beginning, and this is the first, Strawweight one in, 6 years, 7 years, something like that we talked about, whatever. Just so far going through it, do you think you will change your mind or be better with it if, of course, the fights go amazing, the results go exactly how you want, and the weight cut goes okay, and you're like, oh, wow, I felt amazing in there. I felt bigger in there. I felt stronger than my opponent in there. Would that be like, okay, we're going to stay here? Or is it just right off the bat kind of like you said, you're 5-6 weeks out and you are a little bit tired. You are a little bit hungrier than usual of your fight camp. Does that kind of give you a little bit of all right, I don't know if I'm going to do strawweight 9 more times to win the championship?
Oh, no, that has nothing to do with it. I feel like I'm willing to suffer if that means that I'm getting the belt,
Okay.
So it's like the suffering, literally, I've just put it in my head. I'm like, this is going to suck. Like when I signed the contract, I was 12 weeks out. So I was like, the next 12 weeks are going to suck and that's it. We're just going to get through it. I'm like, the only determining factor on whether I go back to flyweight or not is how I feel when I perform. So if I don't feel great after this weight cut when I'm performing, then I would feel more comfortable at flyweight. But other than that, I'm willing to suffer. I'm like, it's part of the job and I'm down for it.
Okay. Dope. That's going to be crazy. I cannot wait. There's been a lot of performances I definitely want to talk to you about. It's been, like I said, a couple of weeks. Erin Blanchfield put on one of the best performances in the flyweight division, main event against Talia Santos, who, she doesn't want to come to America. That's kind of weird and awkward, but that's another topic for another time. Erin Blanchfield's fights Jessica Andrade, who I think we both talked about, for just an absolute monster, like a future Hall of Famer, stud. And she looked so damn good. Erin Blanchfield was there's always levels to this. Erin looked like a total another level over Jessica Andrade. And I don't know if it was the short notice or the cut or anything of that nature, but what a performance by Erin. Insane.
Oh, it's definitely unfortunate that it was on short notice for Andrade, because it's it was Blanchfield's first huge opportunity. So it's I would have really liked to see her been tested against either a full camp Tyler or a full camp Andrade. But either way, like you said, it was a phenomenal performance by Erin, and being so young in the division too. I'm I would like to see her get that Tyler fight before getting a title shot still.
Okay.
But she's definitely up there.
Okay. That's it does seem from the outside, everyone is pushing Erin to get the next title shot. Her versus Valentina already in July. They're already booking that fight. To me, that means Alexa Grasso is going to upset her, because no one has given Alexa Grasso any kind of thing. That I feel like that's what happened with Juliana Pena a little bit. It's oh, we're overlooking this. We're already looking at Erin and Valentina. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I didn't want to go over Tatiana Suarez, someone that I think you said you rolled with her or trained with her a little bit 4 or 5 months ago when you were out there in Vegas. She looked amazing. Her first fight in 1,359 days, second round stoppage. She looked awesome. But that was at flyweight. She did say 115. She is coming home. She will be a strawweight. So what did you think of Tatiana's performance?
I feel like you can always expect to see phenomenal wrestling from Tatiana. She hit that guillotine off. She got in on the clench, then got a nice underhook and dragged Montana down to get the guillotine. And then obviously a submission, I feel like I was surprised by. I didn't expect that from her, especially on a crafty submission artist like Montana. But to see her be able to pull that off, and like I said, just her wrestling, anytime she gets in the clinch, once she's touching a girl, it's beautiful to watch.
For sure. Okay, so both, I'm going to kind of get you into the fight mode a little bit. I think you and I have talked about Montana De La Rosa a couple of times. It does seem like you guys maybe will cross sooner or later in the UFC. It just seems like it will happen. One, when you watched her, did you see like, okay, like I can do that too. Like what Tatiana did, I can do that. And two, let's kind of go with Tatiana too. She is says going to be in a strawweight. If you're going to become a number one contender or the UFC strawweight championship in 2026, probably one of these fights, one of these big fights after you defeat Mackenzie Dern, you will probably Tatiana Suarez. Did you see anything in that? You're like, okay, I can do that. Like I saw this opening. I saw a little crack of the armor that I did like. Did you see anything openings from a fighter's view?
I feel like she had a pretty flawless performance with Tatiana going in there this time. That being said, I don't think like she's flawless completely. There's definitely holes where I've seen in her previous or things that I feel like I'd be able to capitalize on. That my game's just different than anybody else's. But and same like you said, did I see anything with Montana? I feel like it's completely different fights. Like me and Tatiana are just two completely different fighters. We're both kind of like wrestling based, but it's just like my jujitsu is 100% different than Tatiana's. So it's like I feel like it's just it'd be a completely different fight. Montana's I remember when we were back in the Tough House, she's just very long and lanky and awkward on the ground. So it's like if you do get in those entanglements, she can give you difficulties. But both of them are obviously matchups that I'd be down for. I'm like I feel like it's gonna be a weird day when I say I'm not down for a matchup.
Yeah, that is true. That's definitely your style. A little bit more to a personal thing. It was funny. I saw Gloria. I think it was 2 weeks ago. She was in there in Orlando, Florida. Elvin Espinoza was fighting, and she was even trying to like get in the corner. I saw in the crowd, said hi to her, say what's up to her. And I just saw that picture that your coach put up on socials. It's such a great picture because like you're in the middle and you have this. With me having kids, like you just have this wonderful, like Christmas morning smile. Like there's no better smile in the world than you had, better than you had in that. Gloria's on one side, your coach Awesome on the other side. Looking back at those moments, is it like, okay, I cannot wait. I'm counting down the days. I saw you did a little on your story, like a countdown a couple of days ago. Like, are you just in that mode? You cannot wait to get to fight week?
I feel like I'm just in a tunnel. I'm just focused. Yeah. Like all that exists right now is this fight. I'm like, I spend all day either training, cooking meals, focusing on my next meal, or like doing cardio, doing something. Everything is like 100% around this fight. So it's just tunnel vision from here. And the thing that I'm actually most excited about is like, we're going to be in front of a crowd. So to have a crowd again, it's just absolutely amazing.
And also, too, that crowd, I think, is going to be awesome. Kansas City's like an underrated sports town. Their team just won the Super Bowl. Like, I think that crowd's going to be awesome. We love the main event. You and I talked off air about it. Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway. Like, that's a UFC pay-per-view type of main event. Like, if Max beat Volkanovski and Allen was like the number one contender, like that could be a pay-per-view main event if that was for the championship. And that's your main event. That's pretty dope. That's sick.
All right. No, I'm like, I don't think I want to say Max Holloway was the last fighter that I met that I felt like I fangirled over. I'm like, he was the main event on the card when I fought Sarah Froda in Edmonton. And I just remember getting into the elevator and him being in there. And I just like picked up my Reebok bag from the UFC. So I had the shoes on, and he was like, oh, they're giving everybody all the cool Reeboks now. And I was just like, Max Holloway, talk to me. Like that's Max Holloway. Love and then actually another little kind of funny story from that is I was the first fight on, I think one of the first fights on the card that night. So it's like, I'm always early and there's nobody in the crowd a lot of times. So in the picture of me, like with my hands up screaming, you can only see two people in the background, and it's Rush Holloway and his grandma.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm like, those are my two supporters in the fight. I'm like, I love it.
That's all you need. It's
exactly.
Those two. I think I was at home maybe screaming for you. So you had us three. Well, you're good. Our record was added onto it. It's so funny you say that because like the opposite of that, but still funny. I guess I'm going to tell this story now. So I'm at the PFL. We're spin every Friday for the Challenger Series and just talking about Elvin and meeting Gloria there. And just always, it's really cool to meet, fighters and cornermen kind of out of their element. Like Paige Van Zant was doing like the celebrity thing. So Austin was there and we were just talking shit, like two guys talking football and basketball cards and just talking stuff. It's always good to have that. But I walk in and there's like a media section a little back, and I walk in and a guy in the media like walks up to me and he goes like, "Dude, are you the Dave Van Auken show?" I go, I am Dave Van Auken, and yes, like that's the show I do, but yes, I'm Dave Van Auken. Like my name isn't the Dave Van Auken show." And I was like, he's like, "Oh, dude," he was like, "So cool, nice to meet you, man. You're the best." All this. I was like, "Geez, that's crazy. Like that's wild. That definitely, like, I definitely got red Santa Claus cheeks when that happened for sure."
I feel like every time that happens to me, like anytime I get recognized as a fighter out in public, I'm always like, "Oh, you know me?"
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
I get that fangirl kind of thing, just like, oh, like they're like, "Oh, I don't want to bother you." I'm like, "No, bother me, please."
I'm eating dinner. It does not matter. Come over here. Pictures,
Yeah.
please, pictures. But it's awesome. Every time we do the island fights, the commentary, like, dude, yeah. And I'm telling you, because I think they say it even to me, because it's like weird if they say it to you. Like all these fighters like love you and adore you. And like, dude, that's Gillian, especially the female fighters who we just saw main evented the card a couple weeks ago that we commentated. They are trying to be Gillian the Savage Robertson. They're trying to get into the UFC one day. So that's crazy. It's got to make you feel butterflies and good inside for sure.
It's just weird to think like
Right.
You want to be like me?
Right. Yeah. My problems. So yeah, like I'm an asshole once in a while. I'm mean to my kids once in a while. It's like, you don't want to be like me. Like, all right. 12 minutes, UFC 285. We're a couple days away, 2-3 days away now. Jon Jones is back. I think we talked about this a couple times. Inside the octagon, there's some stuff outside the octagon I don't love. Inside, he's the greatest mixed martial artist I've ever seen. Dominant, standing, wrestling, grappling, everything in between. His lineup, and it's crazy because we're doing a lot of stuff for Fight Bananas course on Jon this week. And you look back, his lineup is like so much better than what even people remember. And everyone thinks like, wow, his lineup is awesome. The guys that he beat, it's even better than you think. It's insane how good and how high level. Light heavyweight used to be the best division, and Jon beat everyone, and some of them twice. So he's back. He's fighting for the heavyweight championship. Let's start there. What's your take on Jon Jones being back, fighting for the heavyweight championship? Does Cyril Gane have a chance? What's your take on the main event?
I think it's just going to be interesting to see Jon at heavyweight. It's, I don't know, you're carrying a lot of extra weight in how you move. Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting. And obviously after this long layoff, to see him come back too. I feel like the last two fights that he's had, he's come back and he has performed, but he hasn't performed the way that he used to. He hasn't been like the Jon Jones that we're used to seeing. So I feel like that's also an interesting aspect to see if we really do get the technician that we used to see, as much as like these last two fights were like close where he was just skidding by with the win just a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't want to be that guy, but I will say I think it's the honest thing to say here, and that's what I always do to the people that watch and listen. The further away he gets away from testing positive for not good stuff to train under, let's just be honest, and USADA and everything, he has looked a little bit more normal, has looked a little bit more human. And yeah, like I think what you just said there, has not been brought up enough. So everyone's like, dude, he looks big and he's massive and he's going to have more power and he put on weight. Sometimes that's not the best. Like sometimes you want to be lighter. And I would assume he's going to be a slower fighter. One, he's 3 years older, and one, he's going to be 30 pounds heavier or 40 pounds heavier. Like he's going to be a little bit slower. So if he's used to in his head, like a jab is coming and he's used to doing this, maybe like he needs to do it quick. Like, I don't know. Like it's going to be really intriguing, especially in that first round, especially with Gane. Like Gane, this is like he just fought 3-4 months ago, like against Tai Tuivasa. Like he's been in this hamster wheel. I think if he does get past those first 3-4 minutes and kind of feels his body, I think he will take over this fight. I actually see a lot of grappling in this fight for Jon, but I am intrigued like you. I definitely think is something. He's got a new body. Like he's like, just imagine you fighting that 145. Like that's a different Gillian Robertson than what you're used to.
Oh, yeah, just carrying that extra weight. I don't know. It makes a difference in the way you move. That even me right now, I feel like a month ago, 2 months ago, I was like 138. Now I'm 129. Like that 10-pound difference makes a huge difference. You know, like it's just, I don't know, the way you move, everything. Right now I do feel a little bit faster, but also I'm not as strong. Maybe, you know, there's just a lot of things that are just, I guess, that factor into the different weight classes.
For sure. All right. Prediction: John or Gane? Who's gonna win?
John or Gane? That's kind of funny.
On the fly, dude. You know, no drugs are in me at all either. No drugs.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my goodness.
I have to go with John. Like honestly, like inside the cage, John, I feel like he's the greatest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, co-main event. You and I have been talking for a long time, and that shiny Christmas ornament has been Valentina Shevchenko. She's been the champion in your division that you're in for so long. She's still the champion. She's fighting Alexa Grasso, who everyone is overlooking. Everyone, like I said, I'm telling you, I'm in so much, and I see so much of MMA media. Like, they're already booking Erin Blanchfield and Valentina in July for International Fight Week. They are already booking this fight. Does Grasso have a shot? Does that good to be so overlooked? Or do you think Valentina is a robot and she is this machine? She'll get this job done and then get into that Erin Blanchfield problem in a little bit. But Shevchenko, Grasso, take it away.
Even you're skipping her there.
Jeez, it's the worst. It's the worst.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I am kind of overlooking Grasso a little bit too. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Shevchenko wrestled in this fight. I think whenever she does go against girls who are like known as strikers, that's kind of when she does try out her wrestling and try to use a little bit more of her grappling skills. She like TKO'd Caitlin Chukagian. And I just feel like, yeah, she's going to be outmatched. She might bring her, like, Grasso's tough as shit. She's going to bring her a firefight and she's going to be down for the scrap. But I just don't see her coming out of this with a victory.
I agree. It's a good point. I think I do, especially when champions hear that maybe Santos kind of out wrestled her and maybe Santos controlled her on the ground. Valentina is a champion for a reason. I bet you she's been doing that for 5 straight months, and she probably wants to show the world, like, hey, I'm the best wrestler in the flyweight division now. So I think that way is a good way for her to win. 3 fights round out the main card. One fight I kind of want to get into a little bit more, but the other 2 I'll just name real quick. Jalen Turner and Gamrot, love that fight. Also, Hands of Steel, Neal versus Rakhmonov. I think I messed it up. I don't know. You know, I mean, Shavkat, he's undefeated. Guy's a monster himself. But also, Bo Nickel debuts on the card. 3-0 as a mixed martial artist. Jillian, take me back to your 4th MMA fight. Like, how crazy is it to think that you would be on a pay-per-view main card with John Jones in your 4th fight? That's what Bo Nickel's doing against Jamie Pickett. I know Jamie Pickett's a huge underdog, but the guy's long, he's lean, he can throw hands. He's been in the UFC. He's got 8 fights under the banner. Of course, I'm going to pick Bo as well. I think Jamie's got a shot. Like, I think he's got a legit chance.
It's definitely a huge step up for Bo Nickel. Yeah. Obviously the scene being on the card with John Jones, pay-per-view card, but also just in like the talent that he's fighting. So it's like, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting matchup. I feel like all the boys that he's fought so far have been scared of him. Whereas this is going to be someone who's not scared of him, which just poses a new challenge in general. It's like, even mentally, it's like, how does Bo react when this guy isn't absolutely terrified of him? Like, I don't know. I still feel like I'm siding with Bo, but it's just a huge, huge, huge step up for him.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Also, to take a step back there, you just said Jalen Turner and Gamrot. I'm like, that fight.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing. Like, that. I'm a huge, huge fan of both of those names. Like, Jalen's been killing it. I think he has all submission and all finishes or like most finishes in the
he's on a row. I think it's like 4 finishes in a row, 3 of them in the first round. It's so funny. Literally, on Fight Bananas, we just posted that this is the dark horse fight of the card. No one's talking about it. Everyone's talking about John. Everyone's talking about Valentina. Everyone's talking about Bo. Then even the other one, like Rakhmonov, everyone's talking about him. Like the best fight probably on this card, probably the best 15, 14 minutes we're going to see is Turner and Gamrot. Turner with his hands, Gamrot with the grappling. They're both top 10 guys, talented. Both, I feel like they're both going up in the right direction. Both have experience. This fight is so sick. Like that fight's awesome.
Okay, I think like very few people have as good wrestling as Gamrot in the UFC period. Like he's just so diverse with it in a way that's unique for MMA and perfect for MMA, where he mixes up his wrestling with his striking just so like flawlessly. And then Jalen Turner, he has the hands, but he's got slick jiu-jitsu too. I feel like he's a threat no matter where the fight's at. I'm like, that fight just has me interested.
For sure. Also 2 more female fights on the prelims. Vivian versus Amanda Ribas, Jessica Penne versus Baby Shark, Tabitha Ritchie, I think her last name is. So that's a 115er, and the other fight's 125. Do you still, with you kind of making the strawweight move, are you, when fights happen in 125, I know these are 2 girls you probably have been talked about and been close to fights. Those girls are in your 12 through 20, kind of where you're at the flyweight before moving down to strawweight. Do you still definitely are keeping your eye on it, or are you like 100% locked into 115? It's like, wow, Tabitha might be my next fight if she wins.
At this moment, I'm 100% locked into 115. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. That's what's gonna that's the next fight. We're gonna make it happen, and then like I said, it just depends on how I feel. So it's like I'm not sold on it 100% yet. For the moment, it's like that is the goal, is continuing 115. But it's like if I go out there, like right now, I'm doing everything possible to have a perfect weight cut. So if anything happened, well, if I do feel like shit, it's like there's nothing I could have done more. Like I've started 12 weeks out, and I'm taking every step that I can to get my body down to that weight as healthy as possible. So if it doesn't go well, if I don't feel good when I'm performing, then it's like, maybe we stick to 125 and we just go back up.
Right. Are you still doing the meals that you were doing in Pensacola, like those microwave meals?
Yeah. I'm sticking. The UFC PI is doing all my meal prep, like they send me meals, then they send me just like what I need to eat every day. So I have my breakfast, lunch, and dinner on what I get on like a light training day, on a rest day, or on a hard training day, just depending on how many calories I'm burning. And then 4 or 5 days a week, I'm doing cardio, 30 minutes of cardio usually after a hard training session. So it's like after hard sparring or after a hard grappling session, I'll do 30 minutes of cardio. And just really taking a lot of steps to make sure that I'm going to have an easy cut. I want to make it suck now, so then the week of it doesn't suck as bad.
Right. With those meals, do you have ones that are like, oh yeah, these are my favorites, or these are my go-to, or like, oh yeah, the tacos are good. Oh crap, like the chicken and rice is bad. Is there ones that are more your favorites and least your favorite?
There's definitely some that I don't eat.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, they give me they just send me like a list of what I need to eat every day. So it's like I can use the meals or I can make it myself. So it's like a lot of times I'll end up just adjusting things or making things like how I want it.
Does this help you at all that my Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee is 0 sugar? I didn't do any sugar in it today.
Oh wow, impressive.
I'm trying. 0 sugar. There you go. Also, real quick, shout out to the MMA Shark. Shout out MMA Shark. There you go. Go to the MMAshark.com. Subscribe. Like Gillian does, and you're not allowed to bet on the UFC fights, of course.
I was like, whoa, don't James Cross me.
Oh God, you can't say that name. Man, I cannot wait. Like, I guess I shouldn't say it like that. I mean, I just want to see the resolution of all that. It's wild. I hope, everything is good that happens to good people in that scenario, but I just want to get the resolution. It's crazy. I hear so many things about it. It's nuts.
Okay, I'm like, I want to hear the fight side of things. I feel like you hear a lot of the legal side of things. Like everything he's getting into. But I'm like, I want to hear, was the fight fixed? Like, can we get more into that?
Yeah. Like ESPN does these like 30 for 30s, like kind of like conspiracy stuff or behind the scenes of like NBA and basketball and football and stuff. Like I can't wait for that one 10 years from now. And it's like they have like these cell phone things and people talking. It's like people that are talking with a black thing over their face so you can't see their real face. It's like, yes, someone told me I was going to make $1 million if I lost. Like, oh my gosh, like I cannot wait for that show. Like sign me up. Cannot wait.
Just the really like deep fake voices.
Yeah. I was offered $1 million. I was. All right. That's my deep voice. That's all I got. That's all I got. Crazy. All right. We'll wrap it. Friday, I'm back in Orlando, Florida, PFL Challenger Series. It's been so good. A lot of high-end talents coming out of there. The UFC, the PFL flyweights, the female flyweights were last week. So pretty cool. It was some good fights. Dirty Des, I don't know if you know her, Desiree something. She's the one that won the contract. Gee, she was awesome. Like she was like throwing like strikes and like violently strikes. It was fun to watch. Like sometimes, like some female fights can be a little like they want to grapple or they're going for grapple. Like Dirty, her nickname is Dirty Des. She was like just in the pocket, just throwing bombs. She was awesome.
What's wrong with a grappler?
No. Dude, you know how I feel about you. You're grappling. You go to grapple to finish, like my guy, Brendan Allen. Like he wants to finish. Like sometimes you can see that some are going for, spots and not going for the finish.
So, yeah, no, I feel you.
You know. But, that was cool. Brendan Allen got that main event and then won it. That was awesome.
Absolutely shocker that they lost their main event like night of.
Yeah, hour before the fight. Like literally a couple hours. It was the prelims. They go live and they're like, yep, main event's canceled. It's like, whoa. So crazy.
That's huge
All right,
news.
G, we'll let you run. What's up?
Go ahead. No, I was going to say that's just huge news for Brendan Allen on an hour's notice.
I know. And he got so much good buzz from it. He's a great guy. I've been talking to him, for a couple of years as well. Really good dude, good family guy. It's awesome. That's a big win for him because Muniz was one of those guys. He was the boogeyman of the division. No one wanted to fight him. He was finishing almost everyone he fought. He was like ranked 10th through 12th, and it's a hard spot. When you're ranked in that thing, you don't want to fight guys that are 18 or 23, and then top 5 guys don't want to fight you because it doesn't help them, and you're the killer of the division. So it's a weird spot, but crazy. UFC 285 Saturday night. We'll talk with Gillian with the results. We'll see if John Jones reclaims a championship back in the UFC, and we'll take it from there. Strawweight Savage is loaded. We'll talk to you soon. All right, G?
I'll see you.